Hello everybody, this is Rich of the Rich Maxwell channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about drones and photography. So if you're into those two things or either of those things, please consider subscribing and watching out for more of my videos. This video is the second in a series of videos that I'm putting together about camera lenses. So primarily focusing really on the focal lengths of various camera lenses and what sort of uses they might have in your photography and what benefit they might give you. So in the first video in this series, I talked about the 85mm lens and its uses and benefits. So that was this one, which I covered off. There should be a link in the corner to that video if you want to catch up and watch that video before you go through this one. Just click on that. But yeah, in this video, we're going to be talking about the 70-200 lens. So this is my version of a 70-200 lens. It's a Sigma f2.8 Canon mount lens. I actually shoot with Sony, so I use this lens with an adapter. So the Sony equivalent, there is a Sony lens that I think is about 1,500 quid, or quite a high price, but I managed to pick up this used Sigma one for just £250. So that's why I use the Canon mount version of the lens rather than having a native lens. Does most things that I need. The only things that you miss out on having an adapted lens really are autofocusing in videos, and sometimes some focusing modes like eye autofocus won't work. So you might not get as many autofocus modes, but I found that it does everything that I need so far. So yeah, just going to talk about the focal length really, the 70-200, why it's a great lens and why you might want it in your collection. So 70-200, it's a really versatile focal length. Obviously, you can see it's a big lens, it's a heavy lens to carry around in your camera bag, so that's one drawback of it. It's quite a bulky thing to have on you. But the things that you can do with it, it makes it really handy. A 70-200 is a great focal length for portrait photography, firstly. It means that you can get a bit of distance between you and your subject, so your subject might get a bit more relaxed, and then with the 70-200 range, it will enable you to get less compression in the portrait image, so you'll get less of the background in and more just of your subject. At f2.8, the lens can offer really good bokeh effects, so it can really blur out the background very nicely and take a really nice sharp portrait. And at the 200mm range, it's also really handy in that you can really zoom in on subjects. If you're doing maybe wedding photography, get some really nice candid photos of wedding guests while they're talking, having fun with each other and laughing. So you can really zoom in on people without making them feel awkward. You can obviously be sort of hidden away a bit further back. So it's really handy for those sorts of shots. And what I really like it for is wildlife photography or just photos when I go to a zoo or safari park like I did recently, where I got these images. So with the 200mm range, you can really zoom in on animals and get some really nice shots and nice blurred out backgrounds. It's quite similar to doing a portrait photo, really, an animal, but you don't really get to be as close to your subject so often. So that's why it's a really handy lens for doing any sort of wildlife or animal photography. And with the 70-200, quite often people will get a teleconverter or an adapter to double the focal length or make it 1.5 times the focal length. So that can be quite handy to get even closer to your subject. But when you do get one of those adapters, it doesn't just double up the focal length, it will also double the f-stop. So instead of being f2.8, it effectively then becomes f5.6. So that can be difficult if you're shooting in low light, if you're doubling your f-stop. So that's something to think about. The 70-200, it's going to offer you the chance to get really nice shallow depth of field in your images. It's a nice sharp lens. With my version of the lens being the Sigma sort of third-party manufacturer lens, it's not as sharp at f2.8 as a native like Canon L lens might be. I know that the Canon f2.8 lens is meant to be a really sharp lens throughout the focal length ranges, and the lower f-stop numbers meant to be really sharp as well. So quite often with mine, I'll use it at like f3.2, f3.5, and that just makes it slightly sharper, but still nice blurred out backgrounds and nice effects to the photos. And yeah, it's a really handy lens. Being a zoom lens, it gives you a bit more flexibility in that you can just shoot from one position. You haven't always got to be on your feet, moving around, getting closer to your subject. So that's another handy feature of it. 70 to 200 can also be quite a handy lens to do landscape photos, surprisingly. I've seen a lot of landscape photographers that highly recommend the 70 to 200 when you want to get a really sort of closed-in scene. Maybe you're shooting through something, or you're shooting a sort of valley, and you just want to get that sort of ridge of the valley into the image. So it can be really beneficial for that when you just want to do something that's the opposite really to the typical wide photo that you would do for landscape photography. So that's a 70 to 200. The disadvantages, as I said, it's very heavy. It can be very expensive if you're getting a native f2.8 lens. So the native Canon ones, Sony ones, Nikon ones, they're going to cost quite a bit of money. So consider adapted options if you're just looking at it for photography. If you need it for videography, obviously you're going to have to go for a native lens really. But yeah, the other disadvantage is, I'd say, the weight, the expense, and also it's not going to be as sharp as a prime lens. Prime lenses tend to be much sharper. Also get the benefit of lower f-stops on prime lenses. So in my previous video, I talked about the 85mm lens being great for portrait photos. And obviously in this video, I'm saying that this is great for portrait photos as well. So they're both good options, but the 85 might just be slightly sharper. And also it's going to get you more blurred out, more bokeh effect, as it's a whole stop lower on the f-stop. So that's the 70 to 200 lens. I hope this is a useful video, and if you are interested in seeing more of these lens videos that I'm producing now, please subscribe to my channel and join me again. I'm going to be putting out the photography videos every Saturday and my drone videos every Wednesday. So look out for the videos and please join me again soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got some benefit from the video, and please give it a like and join me again. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.